પ્રેમાપુમતો મહાન શ્રી ચૈતન્ય મહાપ્રભુ મતમિદં તત્રાદરો નઃ પર યોऽન્ત પ્રવિશ્ય મમ વાચમિમાં પ્રસુપ્તાં સંજીવયત્યખિલશક્તિધરસ્વધામ્ના अन्यांश्च हस्तचरण श्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् करारविन्दे नपदारविन्दं मुखारविन्दे विनिवेशयन्तं वटस्य पत्र स्यपुटे शयानं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। जय जय श्री राधा रमण, जय जय नवल किशोर, जय गोपी चित चोर प्रभु, जय जय माखन चोर, जय जय माखन चोर। श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की, श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। उपस्थित भगवत कथा अनुरागी
Hare Krishna, I welcome all the mellowful, exalted devotees of the Lord. I heartily welcome the senior devotees of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness who have beautifully decorated this assembly. I also would love to welcome you all who have gathered from all parts of the world through the medium of Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, etc. in huge numbers, all the listeners, and with heart filled with mellow of love and devotion towards the Lord, the organizers of this Katha, Ambalal Patel's whole family, in whom the chief are Shri Arvind Bhai, Nita Ben, Parin, Nilesh, and Sudha Ben, Praveen Kumar, and our well-wisher and friend, the resident of Canada or Toronto, Sanjay Bhai, Asha Ben, Kriti, Shaurya, and Jia. I welcome you all on the last and the 7th day of this beautiful Katha. I welcome you all, and please accept our humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Radhe Shyam. Shrimad Bhagvat, which is the scripture of love, and who is the fundamental of knowledge, detachment, and love, and which can revolutionize the whole world, such ocean of mellows, Bhagvat Katha, we are listening.
और इस कथा के दौरान श्रीमद् भागवत के 7वें स्कंध से श्री नरसिंह देव भगवान की स्तुति सुन रहे हैं.
So we have been discussing the Narsingh Stuti from the 7th canto. Shukdev Goswami says that this canto is under the Uti Tattva. As Gita discusses the Jiva, the time, the Lord, etc. And out of the 10 elements or tattva, the 7th canto which we are listening has the Uttaya tattva. And all the living entities are attached to sense gratification. So, and we all are engrossed in working. So, some habits are good, like you all
करना और कुछ आदतें बहुत बुरी
gather here to chant the holy names and listen to the Bhagavatam. But some of the work that we do are not good. So in the 7th canto, they have disclosed that if we do good with our good habits, then we will get good result. And if we do bad because of our bad habits, then we will have bad result. As it has been proved through science as well, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So whatever we do results in the fruit, and today or tomorrow we have to suffer the consequences of our work. And Hiranyakashipu did all the bad things, and that is the reason he had to be killed by Lord Narsingadev. And when he was killed, the demigods manifested in front of Narsingh Bhagwan and started venerating him.
प्रथम ब्रह्मा जी ने स्तुति की,
So first of all, Brahmaji venerated the Lord, which we
तत्पश्चात
heard.
शिव जी ने स्तुति की,
Then Lord
तदनंतर
Shiva
देवराज इंद्र ने स्तुति की,
prayed to the Lord, and then Indra, the
अब
chief of the
ऋषि
demigods, prayed.
मुनिगण स्तुति करते
And now it's the turn of the Rishi
तो
Munis,
फिर
that is the sages.
ऋषि मुनि स्तुति करते हुए कुछ इस प्रकार से कहते हैं,
So they beautifully pray to the Lord and mention and say or recite.
त्वं नास्तपः पर त्वं नास्तपः परममात् यदात्मतेजो येनेदमादिपुरुषात्मगतं ससर्ज तदविप्लुत तदविप्रूप्लममुनाद्य शरण्यपाल तदविप्रलुप्तममुनाद्य शरण्यपाल रक्षाग्रहीतवपुषा पुररन्वमंस्ता रक्षाग्रहीतवपुषा पुनरन्वमंस्ता. श्री ऋषय उवाच.
So the Rishya Uvacha means the Rishis said,
ऋषि मुनियों ने इस श्लोक में भगवान नरसिंह देव को दो संबोधन दिए हैं.
and they have addressed Lord Nrsimhadev with two names here in this verse. First is Adi Purusha. You can search in the verse in front of your
में दूसरी अर्धाली में
screen.
येन इदम आदि पुरुषम.
If you see the second last word of the first line,
नरसिंहदेव को संबोधन देते हैं
there you can find the word Adi Purusha.
और दूसरा संबोधन दूसरी लाइन में
And the
देते हैं,
second name is
शरण्यपाल.
mentioned in the second line, that is Sharanyapalaha. So how is
ऋषि मुनियों ने कहा कि
Lord Nrsimhadev, or what is the nature of Lord Nrsimhadev?
पुरुष हो.
Rishis say that
खोज लिया आपने
you
श्लोक में से खोज लिया ना.
are Adi Purush.
त्वं नस्तपः परमात्थ यदात्म तेजो और फिर येनेदम आदि पुरुष येन इदम आदि पुरुष. तो वहां पर है आदि पुरुष, माने हे आदि पुरुष.
So they address him as Adi Purush.
आप कैसे हो? आप
And
आदि पुरुष हो.
what is your nature
यदि मैं आपको
or
पूछूं,
characteristic?
मेरे सामने
Then
बैठे
you are Adi
मैं आपको
Purush.
पूछूं, आप
So if
आदि कौन?
you ask, if I ask you,
प्रकाश
what
जी,
is your
प्रकाश जी
Adi?
हमारे साथ हैं. प्रकाश जी, आपके आदि कौन है? संपदा जी, आप वेस्ट यूएसए से हैं, आपके आदि कौन? मानो पूछा जाए. ये हमारी कोकिला माता ट्रांसलेशन कर रही, उनका आदि कौन? तो इसका सीधा अर्थ यह है कि
So
हम
the
आदि हमारे पिता जिनसे हमारा जन्म हुआ,
Adi for us is our father from whom
हमारे
we
पिता.
came to this world.
हमारे पिता का आदि कौन? उनके
And who is the father of our
हमारे
father,
पिता
our
के
grandfather,
आदि कौन? उनके
and
पिता,
so on and so forth.
उनका आदि, उनके पिता करते 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 करते
So
जाएंगे.
if we reach
इनका अंत कहाँ होगा?
till the pinnacle, where will it end?
इनका अंत भगवान कृष्ण में होगा,
It ends
भगवान विष्णु में होगा.
in Lord Vishnu or Bhagwan Krishna.
ऋषियों ने कहा कि
Why?
तुम
Because the
आदि
rishis are
पुरुषम,
saying that
आदि
you
पुरुष.
are Adi Purush. That means
इस
the first
संसार में
and foremost Father. So all the living entities in this world and all the living and non-living entities, the source is no other than Lord Sri Krishna. When we were kids, we used to discuss, you also might have done it, whether the hen came or the egg. So if someone says that the hen, then they say that the egg came from, the hen came from the egg. And then if someone says that egg or comes first, then they'll say that how the egg came from the hen. So similarly, if we discuss about the tree and its seed, then Lord Krishna replied in Bhagavad Gita that there is no need to discuss. The first and foremost thing that manifested is the seed. So if we ask that from where did the seed manifested, then Krishna says that, oh Arjuna, I am the provider of the seed for everyone. So the root or source of everything, and who is the starting point for everyone, is Adi. And rishis and address him as Adi. We can explain Adi in great detail, but let me remind you of one pastime. To help Pandavas, Krishna came to Hastinapur, and for almost 6 months he stayed there. And when he was about to return, at that time he was just about to leave, and that time Ashwathama sent his weapons to kill the Pandavas and to kill Uttara's son in her womb, who was the only source for their clan to proceed or progress. Parikshit would also be killed. But when Uttara saw this, she saw this Brahmastra coming towards her. She did a great job. This Devi Uttara, instead of
कि दूसरी लाइन में लिखा है शरण्यपाल
going to surrender to someone else, she went to Lord Shri Krishna. Because a person to whom we should surrender is no other than Krishna, Rama, Vishnu, or Narsimha. That means Sharanyapal. And she came running to the Lord to protect her. She begs Lord Shri Krishna for protection. And instead of going to Dwarika, he stayed there to protect the womb of Uttara. And then Devi Kunti, who was so filled with emotion, she prayed to the Lord, and the first address she used was, she says Adi. So she says that you are Adi, and Lord Shri Krishna bowed down at her feet, and he said that in relationship, you are my paternal aunt, and you are like my mother, because you are the sister of my father, and I should bow down at your lotus feet because you are like my mother. And why are you praying or venerating me? Then Kuntichi replies that it may appear that you are a child, but if we see from the source point of view, then you are the Lord of everyone. Because You are the source of everything. And this is what the rishis are saying here, Adi Purusham. O Lord Narsimha Dev, I bow down at your lotus feet. Some people who appear once in 15 days a month. So even Devi Kunti in her prayer has said that you are Adi. In Manu Samhita, as there is Manu Samhita, there is a Brahma Samhita as well. And there Brahmaji says, O Govind, O Krishna, I pray to you, I worship you, and I don't pray anyone else. Govindam Adi Purusham Taham Bhajami. Because although you look like or appear as a 16-year-old child, but you are Adi Purusham. We are discussing this word Adi Purush and its meaning and references. So Brahmaji says that you are Satchit Ananda Vigrah, Adi Anadi. So as I mentioned that Adi means the father. So for everyone else, the Adi is Krishna. But there is a question that who is the source of Krishna then? Or who is the father of Krishna? Then Brahma says, An Adi, Adi Govindam. That means that he is the source of everyone, but none is the source or father of Krishna because he is the root of everything. So for us, the ultimate source for us is Krishna, but Krishna's another name is Anadi. That means who has no source because he is Bhagwan himself. Therefore, there is a proclivity in Shrimad Bhagavatam. So, Brahmaji was told in 4 verses about Shrimad Bhagavatam. Then it was told to by Brahmaji to Naraji, and then Naraji explained it to Vyasji. So this was all compressed in 4 verses, which is referred to as Chatur Shloki Bhagvat. So Naraji said to Brahmaji that please give me the knowledge of the Vedic injunction or scriptures. So Brahmaji said that when I manifested, then I asked the Lord that please give me the knowledge by which I will never get so, that time the Lord revealed the Chatur Shloki Bhagvat. And from where did this Chatur Shloki Bhagvat starts? He says, Aham eva agre. O Brahma, in the beginning of this material universe, only I was there. So before this material universe manifested, I was the only one present. And then I created this universe. And then it will be annihilated and everything will end. And at the end, only I will remain. Why? Because I am the source of everything. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that I am the Adi or source of all the demigods as well.
ओके, तो इतना काफी है. ऋषि मुनियों ने प्रथम संबोधन दिया आदि पुरुष. सो आदि पुरुष माने
So the first
सबके स्रोत, हम सबके रूट.
word by which the
हम लोग बहुत बड़े बाप के बेटे हैं, लेकिन
Munis addresses the Lord is Adi. So that's what we have understood so far. So Krishna is our father, but the problem is that we have forgotten this relationship. And in Upanishad, it is mentioned that a son of a lion, the lioness died after giving birth, and the son of the lion attached with the group of the goats, and he started eating grass. He started walking like goat and started living like goat. Although he is the son of lion, and he started behaving like a goat. But after some time, when he grew up, then a lion saw that in the group of goats, what is the lion doing here? So that lion took him and he told him in Gujarati, don't you feel ashamed of yourself? You are son of a king of the forest and you roam around with goats. You belong to such a great family, and even the elephants are scared of us and you are roaming around with goats.
हमारे बाप बहुत बड़े वन के स्वामी हैं. ठीक उसी प्रकार हमारी स्थिति है. हम
And the
लोग
same situation is for us. We are son of the Lord or the lion, but we have become the son of the goat. We have made us convinced that we are this body. And if I ask a materialist person and the Lord manifests that I will take you to the heaven, then that person will say that no, I just want to stay here in this material world. Because we don't know anything beyond this material world, and by just staying in this material world, our identity has also become attached to our material universe. And if a saint come to us and he shows us our actual position, then only we can understand. So the lion took the kid lion to the river and told her that you should look into the mirror and see for yourself. And the saint, a true saint, also reveals to us our real identity. That is, that we are the part and parcel of Krishna and servitor of the Lord. And our first and foremost father is
केवल एक संबोधन पर ही आधा घंटा हमने थोड़ा सा.
Lord Sri Krishna, and that is how the rishis are addressing him. So when Acharya has interpreted, Sridhar Goswami interpreted this word as
हे आदि पुरुष संबोधन है, माने हे आदि पुरुष. आदि पुरुष माने विश्व हेतु.
Adi Purush means, according to Sridhar Goswami, Vishwa Heto.
माने विश्व हेतु.
That is,
माने कारण.
the Hetu means reason, and Vishwa is the material world. So the reason by which this world has manifested, it exists and sustains itself, and which will be annihilated because of which, and the source of all this is Lord Vishnu, Narsingadev or
So
Krishna.
आदि पुरुष विश्व है तो विश्व के सर्जन पालन और प्रलय के जो कारण हैं, इसलिए इनको आदि पुरुष
So
कहते
he
हैं।
is the cause of all causes.
इस श्लोक में दूसरा
And that is why
संबोधन
he is mentioned as Adi Purush.
शरण्यपाल।
And the second address is
संबोधन दिया
a beautiful word, Sharanyapal.
शरण्यपाल के तीन अर्थ होंगे। एक
So there are
साधारण
three
अर्थ
meanings
होगा
of this
शरणागत
Sharanyapal.
वत्सल।
First is
पहला अर्थ है शरण्यपाल का शरणागत
a
वत्सल, यानी जो आपकी
the Lord
शरण में
who
आता है ना
is,
प्रभु,
who loves, the person
जब
who
आप उनसे
take his
प्रेम
shelter.
करते हैं,
So if anyone who comes and take your
हमारी
shelter,
लाई हुई गाय
you
अपने बछड़े से प्रेम
love
करते
them
हैं।
as a
जैसे वो
cow
वत्सला गाय अपने
loves
वत्सल से अपने
its
बछड़े से
newly
प्रेम
born
करती है,
calf.
ठीक उसी प्रकार आप
Similarly,
भक्तों से प्रेम करते हैं
you
तो
love
शरण्यपाल।
your devotees. That is why
इसके और
he is
दो
called
अर्थ
as
हमारे पास इधर
Sharanyapal.
हैं।
The other two
शरण्यपाल
meanings, according to Sridhar
शरणियः
Goswami,
शरण्य
are
आश्रय पद यतः। इसका दूसरा अर्थ है शरण्यपाल
the
माने
second meaning for this word
आश्रय
is
पद यत, जिसका
Ashraya
आश्रय ग्रहण
Pradiyata,
कर सके।
means a,
इस दुनिया में और किसी
the
भी व्यक्ति
person
वस्तु का आश्रय ग्रहण करेंगे
of which we should take shelter.
महाराज तो थोड़ा सा
So
कड़ा
if we
शब्द
take
बोलते हैं
shelter, if we
कि
take shelter
भगवान
of
को
someone else,
छोड़कर
then
अन्य
except the
किसी
Lord,
का भी
then
आश्रय लेना, ये
Lord
कैसा
Prahlad
वेदांत है
tells in
कि
very
आप
harsh
समुद्र में
words.
डूब चुके हो
He
और आपको
says
तैरना नहीं आता,
that if you are drowning
और
in the
जिसको
sea
तैरना नहीं आता और वो समुद्र में डूब चुका है और डूबता
and
हुआ
he is almost
आपकी
drowning,
पूंछ पकड़े,
and if he holds the tail
इस
of a
संसार में
dog,
भगवान को छोड़कर अन्य किसी का आश्रय ग्रहण करना ये कुत्ते की पूंछ पकड़ने के बराबर है। क्या होगा?
and what will
समुद्र में
happen
डूबता हुआ आदमी कुत्ते की
if a
पूंछ पकड़ेगा,
person
खुद भी गिरेगा और
tries
फिर कुत्ते को भी डुबाएगा।
to take shelter of the dog's
लेकिन
tail, then
डूबता हुआ
he
आदमी
will
यदि गौ माता की पूंछ पकड़ ले तो खुद भी तैर जाएगा।
drown himself and he will let the dog also drown himself.
तो
But
शरण
if he takes
ग्रहण
the
करने लायक
shelter of a cow, then he will be saved and cow will be saved as well.
कबीरदास
So
जी ने कहा
only person who
कि
is
कृष्ण
capable to
को
give
छोड़कर
shelter is
अन्य को
no
भजी
more
है।
than
क्या
Krishna.
कहा? कृष्ण को छोड़कर अन्य को भजी है, हाथी को छोड़कर गधे पर चढ़ी है।
Surdas ji says that instead of taking the shelter of the Lord, Krishna is like that a person who was taking an elephant ride comes
ईश्वर को छोड़कर
and
किसी
start taking the ride of a donkey.
हो सकता है छोटी मोटी वस्तु या शुरू में
It's possible that initially you will get benefit, but ultimate shelter can be provided only by Lord Sri Krishna. That is why
संबोधन में बड़े गुह्य गूढ़
he is referred to or addressed as Sharanyapal.
ओके, तो दो अर्थ हुआ। शरण्यपाल माने शरणागत वत्सल, शरण्यपाल माने शरण ग्रहण करने योग्य, आश्रय लेने योग्य। और शरण्यपाल का तीसरा
And the third meaning of Sharanyapal is
इदानीम। शरण्यपाल का अर्थ है पालक।
Palak, that is a person who nurtures or sustains us. So the only person who sustains or nurtures a living entity is only Krishna and no one else. If we sit peacefully and just contemplate that whatever things we need to survive and who is the ultimate source of everything, the home that we are living is created through the bricks, mortar, etc. It has started with the earth, and it is the potency of the Lord. So ultimately, He is the sustainer for all of us. And Palan or sustenance is also of two types. First is of our physical body, and the second, if we perform unalloyed devotional service towards the Lord, then the Lord gives His ultimate love and eternal relationship with Him, and He gives or sustains our soul as well. That is Atma.
परंतु यदि हम उनकी भक्ति करें तो वे हमारी आत्मा का पालन करते हैं. ओके, तो दो संबोधन हो गए, अब ज्यादा नहीं, दो संबोधन हो गए. अब ऋषि मुनि गण कहते हैं.
So now the rishis or the sages say,
हे शरण्यपाल. अब श्लोक प्रारंभ हो रहा है. अब श्लोक देखिए, बड़ा
so now this verse starts. It's a beautiful verse.
आपने नह
He says, Tvam, that is you,
परम आत्थ. हे प्रभु, आपने
for you, us, na stapaha for us,
तपस्या ही सबसे उत्तम मार्ग है, ऐसा आपने हमको प्रवचन किया था.
and you preached us that austerity.
आपने नह
Tvam means you,
तपस्या, परम आत्थ, परम
na means to us, tapaha means austerity. Paramat means first and foremost, and you told us the most important thing to perform austerity, that is tapa. So the Rishi Munis are reminding the Lord that you told us to perform austerity, that every living entity should perform austerity or tapa. So if we discuss this a little, out of the 84 lakh species of the living entities, we receive this human life.
और कभी कभी जो बनकर आए ना, उसका छटका थोड़ा सा रह जाता है, मतलब उसका प्रभाव जो है ना थोड़ा सा है? कभी कभी कोई बंदर बन के आया है ना, तो वो बंदर का थोड़ा सा प्रभाव
So we have crossed so many species and finally came to the human form. So, and sometimes the last life's little qualities are still there. So we got this beautiful human life. And did we receive this for sense gratification? Because for in these 84 lakh species, everyone is trying to enjoy their senses. If you see any living entity, then you will see that they're engrossed in sense gratification because they lack intelligence and they don't have such kind of body. But finally, when we get this human body, then we should not enjoy our senses or indulge in sense gratification. What does Rishabh Dev say?
लोके कष्टान कामान अर्हते वीड भुजाम ये तपो दिव्यम पुत्र कायेन सत्वम शुद्धेत यस्मात् ब्रह्म सौख्यम त्वयनन्तम. भगवान ऋषभ देव कहते हैं,
So Bhagwan Rishabh Dev says,
के 100 पुत्र हुए,
he had 100 sons
सारे के सारे सक्सेस हुए.
and they all were successful.
एक पिता के 5 पुत्र होते हैं, 5
If a
सक्सेस नहीं
father has 5 sons, they all are not successful. Some of them may not be great because all the 5 fingers are not same. But Bhagwan Rishabh Dev had amazing 100 sons who all were successful. And what was the reason behind that? Well, it was nothing else than his sharing the philosophical points. So they all used to stay in other paths, but on this festival occasion, they all gathered. And when Rishabh Maharaj got this opportunity, he gave them this preaching. He tells his sons, Putraka, that is, I am your father, and you are of my son, and it is my responsibility to get relief, to relieve them of this repeated birth and cycle of death. He says that the mother is not mother, or father is not father, or guru is not guru.
अपने आश्रितों को जन्म मृत्यु
And the demigod is not demigod if they don't relieve us of this material cycle of repeated birth and death. And I'm your father, so I'll preach you. And if you like it, then you can apply in your life. The living entity is independent, and he starts from here. He is an incarnation of the Lord amongst the 24 incarnations of the Lord. And in Jainism, from the 24 Tirthankars, according to their calculation, the first and foremost is Bhagwan Rishabh Dev. So all the religions accept him. So such Rishabh Dev said, "Oh my son, this human body, Deh Bhajam, or for humans, like the hog who enjoys the stool, this human body is not to do the same and enjoy our senses. Then what is the reason that we got this body? That is tapo divyam, that is to perform divine austerity. So usually for us, we all are entangled or engrossed in sense gratification. Our senses are conditioned to find higher facility. If we get an opportunity, then we will prefer to go for a fresh chapati rather than the old one. So it means that we all always try to get higher facility. So nobody wants to go down. Everybody wants to progress in sense gratification most of the time, because we are conditioned in such manner. Previously, we have taken millions of lives, and we have just tried
जानवर ये पशु पक्षी क्यों घूमते हैं भोग
to
खोजने
satisfy
के लिए
our senses. So in India, usually the dogs roam around in the streets. Why? Because they go in search of sense gratification. Similarly, the humans also do the same, then what is the difference between humans and animals?
चल जाए, जीवन निर्वाह हो जाए,
So this human
व्यवस्था करके
body can sustain that much. We should
हमें हमारा जीवन तपस्या
save
की ओर
or
आगे बढ़ाना चाहिए.
attain, and then we should progress towards spiritualism or performing austerity.
ऋषि मुनि याद कराते हैं, आप नीचे देखिए, त्वम प्रभु आपने ही न
So
हमको
the rishis say that
परम अर्थ
you
तपस्या
told us to perform austerity, and you said that that is the
आगे भाव ये है
great
कि आपने हमको जो तपस्या का उपदेश
dharma
दिया था
or
और हम
righteousness
तपस्या कर भी
or
रहे
way
थे,
of life.
लेकिन हिरण्यकश्यप ने हमारी तपस्या बंद करा दी.
And
आपने
they
जब
say
शुरू
that
कर दिया,
we were
तो
performing
हमारी
austerity,
तपस्या
but
फिर से शुरू
Hiranyakashipu
होगी. आगे का
was
भाव
forcing
है,
us to
और
stop.
अभी
So
हम
that is
दूसरी
the
तपस्या के ऊपर
mellow
लगी हुई है. थोड़ा सा इस
which
पे
we'll discuss further. But right now we're discussing
भगवान
this
ऋषभदेव ने कहा तपो, तपस्या करो.
tapasya or
मैंने श्लोक
austerity.
इसलिए टिकाया है क्योंकि पहले के जमाने में ऐसे श्लोक नहीं दिखाते थे, और मेरे जैसा कोई प्रवचन करता था और इतना प्रवचन सजाया धजाया और कहा कि मनुष्य
So
जीवन
previously
नहीं मिला, मनुष्य जीवन तपस्या करने के लिए मिला है, तब लोग हरक फदुड़ा हो
people were not showing the verses,
बस
and
हम तो जीवन में तपस्या ही तपस्या करेंगे.
and when they tell that you have to perform austerity, then they leave everything and they go for austerity and start plucking their hair. But I just want to tell you that we have to perform austerity, no doubt about it. But what kind of austerity we have to perform? The word mentioned here is divyam next to tapo. That means divine austerity. So, do you think that the trees and plants, etc., perform less austerity?
दिव्य तपस्या तपो दिव्यम पुत्र कायेन सत्वम. अच्छा, ये दिव्य तपस्या करने से क्या होगा?
And what will we achieve by performing divine austerity? He says that, my sons, if you perform this, then Shuddhyat
फिर चौथी लाइन में है शुद्धियत. सत्व माने चित्त,
Shuddhyat.
हमारा दिल, हमारा
So
मन,
he says that our heart, mind, and intelligence will get purified, which is not
हमारा दिल कितना शुद्ध है
today.
हम लोग ही जानते हैं.
How much
परंतु
our
दिव्य
heart,
तपस्या
our mind,
करेंगे,
etc., is
सत्वम
pure,
शुद्धियत,
only
सत्व
we
शुद्ध
know.
हो जाएगा. लेकिन सत्व शुद्ध होने से क्या होगा?
But if we
भगवत में कहते हैं
perform
ब्रह्म
this
सौख्यम त्वनंत.
divine austerity, then our heart
आनंद का सुख
will
मिलेगा, जो
become
सुख
purified
हम
and
आप
we will
रात दिन खोज रहे हैं,
achieve
जिस
the
सुख को हम
eternal
भोगों में खोज रहे हैं,
happiness or
वो
bliss
सुख भोग में नहीं है,
which we are trying
वो
to
सुख तो दिव्य तपस्या
find
में
in
छिपा हुआ
sense
है.
gratification,
जब
that
हम
is
दिव्य तपस्या
hidden
करेंगे,
in the
सत्व
divine
शुद्ध होगा,
austerity.
मन
When
अंदर
our
से
heart
शुद्ध
and
होगा,
mind becomes
तो वो
purified,
सुख अंदर से ही
then
प्रकट हो जाएगा,
that
वो ब्रह्म स्वरूप.
bliss will ecstasy
तो कैसी
manifest
तपस्या करने से होगा?
inside our hearts.
दिव्य तपस्या करने से. अब मैं इतना कह के बंद कर,
But it can be achieved only by performing divine austerity, divya tapa.
ऐसा तो करना पड़ेगा, हाँ? कि
So
भाई
now I will
इसका
have to
मतलब क्या?
reveal that
Exactly
what is
तपस्या
this
का अर्थ क्या
austerity?
है?
What exactly is the meaning of
तो तपस्या
tapasya or austerity?
एक है शरीर
So
से
austerity
तपस्या,
is of three types. First
दूसरी
is
है
through
मन से
our
तपस्या,
physical body.
और
Second
तीसरी है
is through
वाणी से
mental
तपस्या.
austerity.
ओके,
And the third is through
शरीर
speech.
की तपस्या अलग होती है,
So they
वाणी
all
की
are different.
तपस्या कुछ अलग होती है, और मन की तपस्या अलग होती है. ये सब खिचड़ी मत कीजिएगा, हम लोग क्या ना सब खिचड़ी कर देते हैं.
So we need not to mix all of them. Everything should be defined, and we should understand technically that what kind of austerity are we performing. In Bhagvat Gita, Lord Krishna tells about austerity in this verse.
गुरु प्राज्ञ पूजनम शौचम आर्जवम ब्रह्मचर्य अहिंसा च शरीरम तप उच्यते. अब मुझे क्या हो रहा है, मेरा ये अंतिम दिन है और मेरा
So now today is the last day, and
इंजन गर्म हुआ है.
I'm overwhelmed that how much I want to speak and tell you.
स्तुति को बहुत आगे बढ़ाऊंगा, लेकिन इसी में तपस्या में फंसे। लेकिन किसी भी टॉपिक को यदि लेते हैं तो उसे क्लियर करना जरूरी है।
So it is always better to clear the topic that we're discussing.
उपदेश दिया था, लेकिन वो तप का उपदेश क्या? तो शरीरम तप उच्यते, शरीर का तप क्या है?
So what is the austerity of the body? That is Dev, that is Bhagwan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And to worship Bhagwan is the physical austerity. And the second point is Dvij, that is devotee, Vaishnava, or a Brahmana, to serve or pray them. So these are the austerities of the body. By the body, worshipping the Lord, the Brahmanas or devotees and the Gurus or bona fide spiritual master and the intelligent who have the whole knowledge of the Vedic injunctions and scriptures. So such people should be prayed or worshipped. These four
Guru or Pragya
are Bhagwan, Brahman, Vaishnav, bona fide spiritual master, and the knowledgeable. And serving them is the physical austerity. And the second line, he says, to keep the body clean, we should bathe thrice. I do, that is why I can say. So this is the austerity of the body. Because
को पकड़ने में आसानी होती है।
by taking the bath, the body becomes purified. It's not that taking bath is devotion, but if we perform this austerity, then devotional service becomes easier. So if you take a bath and attend the katha and one day without taking the bath, you will feel the difference yourself. And after Shocham is Arjvam, Saralta or simplicity.
सरलता, सरलता जीवन में यदि एक कपड़े से काम हो जाए तो दो कपड़े नहीं।
If you can sustain in with one thing, then we should not keep two. This is the austerity of the body. Further, he says brahmacharyam, to follow brahmacharya. So the definition of brahmacharya is quite deep. But instead of wasting your time on Facebook, YouTube, etc., is today's brahmacharya. It is mentioned that we should
उनके साथ किसी भी प्रकार का संबंध
not even look at the picture of a woman who is not related to us. And it is for women as well. And that is the austerity of the body. And to avoid any kind of violence is also physical austerity. And he says this is Shariram Tap Uchyate, that is the austerity of the body. And further, he mentions about the austerity of speech.
वाणी का तप क्या है?
So the austerity of speech is what? First and foremost, anudveg karam vakyam. In simple words, if we should not speak anything that agitates or angers anybody or somebody. So, not to agitate others is the austerity of the speech. If you speak, then you should speak in such a manner that love should manifest. Sometimes people speak harshly.
मैं बोलता हूँ तो कुछ लोग मेरे सामने से प्रकट हो जाते हैं, बिल्कुल 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 सामने लोगों को ठार कर देती है, ऐसा बोलते हैं। तो गीता में कृष्ण वाणी की तपस्या क्या है? किसी को उद्विग्न न करे, मीठी वाणी है। ये हमारी
we should speak softly.
वो इतना मीठा बोलते हैं कि आधा तो समझ में ही नहीं आता है, सामने वाले को टेंशन ही नहीं है, समझ में आवे तो क्रोध आवे ना कोई ने तो कुछ लोगों की वाणी बहुत मीठी होती है। फिर कैसी वाणी? सत्यम, सत्य बोलना ये वाणी का तप है।
So, speaking the truth is also austerity of the speech. So we sometimes lie to get our work done, and gradually it becomes such a great obstacle in our path. And then to speak priya, that is, the speech should be such that benefits others. So in our every statement, it should be for welfare of others, and we should, if we are not able to, then we should practice that, and we should listen to people who speak in such a manner.
हित करने वाली होनी चाहिए। और स्वाध्याय वाणी का और तब क्या है?
And the other austerity is to read the Vedic scriptures. That is Swadhyaya. There are a few people who are our friends who say that you teach us this and that, and I say that daily we are having the katha. So a spiritual master cannot teach others until a disciple unless the disciple has done some self-study. Swa means ourselves and Dhyaya means to study. That is Swadhyaya. You all are listening. If you start reading yourself, and if you read before you come to the katha, then you will enjoy it more. And then we try to understand, then we will progress. Definitely. But nobody does that. This is a type of austerity. This contemplating and putting strain on our brain is austerity of the speech.
तो शरीर का तप हो गया, वाणी का तप हो गया, अब मन का तप।
So next is the austerity of the heart, that is manaha.
आत्म विनिग्रह भाव संशुद्ध रित्येत तपो मानस उच्यते। मनः प्रसाद, मन का तप क्या है?
So what is the austerity of the heart? That is to be satisfied. And where does this reside? It is the righteousness of the mind or heart. And the austerity of heart is satisfaction. It will not happen by just speaking, but by practicing it. Even I have one interpretation, that is to stay satisfied or happy.
हमको देखकर 10 और दुखी हो जाए, ऐसे जीना। चाहे जीवन में कितनी भी उथल पाथल हो,
even if you have any problem in your life, you will be facing the
ये मन का तप है भक्तों, मन प्रसन्न।
obstacles in your life according to our karma or action, but still we should always remain happy and satisfied, because and all the people who are devotees of the Lord should never agitate themselves, because it will misrepresent the devotee world and others will run away and from the path. So if someone asks me that I want to do the preaching, then I tell them that first you should always try to be happy and satisfied. Only then you will be able to preach better. Because if you are always happy and blissful, then people accept bhakti or devotional service. And if while performing bhakti we appear sad, then the people who get inspired also will run away. So we should
में विपरीत परिस्थिति होती है, फिर भी मन को
keep our heart happy and satisfied. And that is the austerity of this heart.
मन की तपस्या क्या है?
And the other austerity is not to cheat or cheat others, to get rid of the conceit for others. That is the austerity of the heart. So sometimes we don't say, but in the heart we feel that, oh, that person is progressing so much, they should not progress that much. So the austerity of mind or heart is not to have conceit for others. And what is the
भगवद गीता में जैसे कृष्ण ने कहा ना कि धैर्य
mute or mourn of the heart, that is
संसार में कितना भी सुख हो या दुख हो, वो सुख आने पर इतना प्रसन्न न हो, दुख होने पर इतना दुखी न।
that is a person who is not affected by the problem or happiness that comes in his way. That person is called Dhir, and that is the austerity of mute or mourn. Then the control of our senses is in the hand of man or heart, and in a few seconds we roam around here and there. So to control the senses is the austerity of the heart or mana. Then in the third line, to keep a great behavior is the austerity of the heart. And all these are the austerities of the heart. So in this manner we
आधे लोग कहेंगे हमको तो इसमें आधा याद भी
have discussed 3 types of austerity. So you all will perform the austerity. So half of you will say that we don't even remember. If you remember, then only we'll be able to follow or reply. If I tell you that you need not to remember all this. So these are the tap mentioned here is so it is for the other yugas, but If you are able to do something out of this, that would be great. But for this Kali Yuga, the most important austerity is what?
भगवान का नाम,
That is
हरि
the chanting of the holy names.
आप लोग एक जगह पर बैठकर
By just sitting at one place,
भगवान का
you
नाम लेते
chant the holy names of the Lord,
कोई नहीं है,
and there is nothing beyond
घंटों भर
for austerity in
committed
Kali
हो,
Yuga.
घंटों भर यहाँ
You
बैठ
all
के
are committed here, you sit here
मेरे
and
कुछ
listen to the Bhagvat Katha.
श्रोता रिजर्व्ड है कि मेरे मेरे मन में ही होते कि जब ये जूम खुलेगा इतने तो इतने होंगे होंगे होंगे, ये रिजर्व श्रोता है, वो मैंने मान लिया है और वो भी मान चुके हैं कि हम
So I have accepted that I have few reserved
कलयुग में ये सबसे बड़ी तपस्या है.
listeners who will be there, so they also know. So out of 365 days, 300 days is the Katha. But you still consider something, and you might have been making arrangements, but you don't leave the Katha. You don't leave the chanting of the holy name. This is the greatest austerity, and there is nothing beyond this. That is why Goswami Tulsidas in Ram Katha, after giving all the philosophical points towards the end, he concludes by saying this verse in front of your screens.
सुमेरिय गाइय रामहि, गाइए रामहि सुमेरिय गाइय रामहि, संतत सुनीय राम गुणग्रामहि, अने संतत सुनीय राम गुणगामहि, यह कलिकालन साधन दूजा, यह कलिकालन हे जी साधन दूजा, जोग यज्ञ जप तप व्रत पूजा, जोग यज्ञ जप तप व्रत पूजा, राम ही सुमेरिय गाइय रामहि, संतत सुनीय राम गुणग्रामहि, हे जी संतत सुनीय राम गुणग्रामहि. राम ही सुमीरिया. राम का अर्थ छोटा मत लीजिएगा. राम माने राम भी है, कृष्ण भी है, विष्णु है, भगवान.
Ram here signifies all the incarnations. He signifies Krishna, Narsimha, Vishnu, etc. So he says Ramahi, that is definitely only Ram. And to remember him or to sing the glories of the Lord, if you cannot sing, then you can come to Zoom and log in Amrit Charcha on Zoom. and constantly listen to the glories of the Lord.
भगवान के गुण, भगवान की कथा निरंतर सुनते रहो. That's it. That's all.
That is all that is required for austerity in Kali Yuga. So whatever I told previously, if you do that, that would be great. But if you're not able to do that, then at least remember the Lord, sing His glories, and constantly listen to His pastimes or proclivities. Because Kalikal, that is, this is Kali Yuga, and there is no other way.
इस कलयुग में और कोई साधन नहीं है. इस कलयुग में योग भी हरि
Jog, Jagge, Jap, Tap, Vrat, Puja, everything is all these ways, or the benefit of all of them can be achieved by just remembering the Lord, His names and His
में वास्तविक तप भगवान की कथा,
pastimes.
भगवान का नाम लेना, भगवान का स्मरण करना. यदि इतना करोगे तो
So if we do that much, then all the other qualities will manifest automatically. So let's go to the fundamental verse. The Rishi Munis are performing or venerating the Lord.
ये जो उपदेश अभी हमने सुना आधे पौने घंटे में, ये तपस्या वाला उपदेश, तो त्वम हे प्रभु आपने हमको तपः परम आत्थ.
So they say that you have told us to perform austerity, and you told us that this is the eternal dharma for us, and this is what you taught us. And I already told you the 3 types of austerity, and I've given you the conclusion as well. And the conclusion is Harinam and Harikatha.
तपस्या कैसी है, इसके 2 विशेषण बताए कि प्रभु आपने हमें जो तपस्या
But
का
they tell the adjectives of austerity. And what kind of austerity is that? That is Yadatma Tejo. That is the quality of austerity. That austerity is nothing else, but it is your effulgence. Austerity is Lord's effulgence. So, in other words, a person who performs austerity manifests the Lord's effulgence, and the divine transcendental effulgence manifest in them. So, a person who performs this kind of austerity, then we get the knowledge of Lord Hari, and it manifests in us, and the Lord manifests in our heart. So this is one adjective of austerity. And the second adjective is, what kind of quality does austerity has? So first of all, this austerity is your effulgence, and other, by this austerity, through this austerity, you have manifested this whole material world from your body. The Lord manifested this world through His austerity. So this world or earth was created on the basis of austerity.
भोग का परिणाम नहीं है.
And if we want to be happy and satisfied, then we should perform austerity, because the earth is result of the austerity of the Lord.
आपने अपने अंदर रही हुई सृष्टि को इसी तपस्या के द्वारा प्रकट किया था. तो स्वयं भगवान ने तपस्या करके इस सृष्टि को प्रकट किया। और इसका दूसरा अर्थ,
And the other meaning is,
श्रीधर स्वामी कहते हैं,
Sridhar Goswami says,
आदि पुरुष ब्रह्मा। यहाँ पर आदि पुरुष का एक अर्थ है ब्रह्मा।
so here one of the meaning of Adi Purusha is Brahma.
आदि पुरुष यानी कि
So
ब्रह्मा
through
जी
this
ने
austerity,
आत्मगतम,
Brahma ji
माने
got
अपने
Atmagatam, that
आत्मा
is,
का चिंतन, माने परमात्मा का चिंतन करके
he contemplated on the Supreme Personality of the Lord, and
मतलब आपका चिंतन, आपका ध्यान करके इदम
by
जगतम
contemplating
ससर्ज।
on you, he
माने जिस तपस्या से ब्रह्मा जी
created this
इदम
whole
जगत ससर्ज,
world.
इस जगत का सृजन
Idam
किया।
Jagatya Sasarjam, that is, he
तपस्या से
manifested or
भगवान
created
सृष्टि
the
करते
whole
हैं,
universe.
तपस्या से ही ब्रह्मा जी इस संसार
So
का
through
सृजन
austerity,
करते हैं।
the Lord and Brahmaji, they both create the
तपस्या की महिमा
material
हो गई
world.
पहली लाइन में।
So this is the glory of austerity.
ये जो मैं जितना बोला उसका सिंपल अर्थ क्या है?
So what is the simplest meaning of whatever I've said so far? So he says that
उपदेश दिया था
you told us
और तपस्या
or
की
preached us
महिमा है, आपका ही तेज है, आप ही जिससे सृष्टि करते हो।
about austerity,
तद, दूसरी लाइन में तद,
and
वो
you
तपस्या
create the material world through
आपके कहने पर
austerity.
हम लोग तपस्या कर
And
रहे थे,
on your behest, we
लेकिन
were
उस
performing
तपस्या को
austerity.
विप्रलुप्तम
But
अमुना, इस काले माथा के मानवी ने, इस हिरण्यकशिपु ने उस
this
तपस्या को बंद
Hiranyakashipu
कर
demon
दिया था।
had stomped
आप
all
कहते हैं,
our
ऋषि मुनि
austerities.
कह रहे हैं कि
So
आपके
this is what
कहने
Rishi
पर हम
Munis are
लोग
saying,
तपस्या कर रहे
that
थे,
on your
लेकिन अब
advice we were
विप्रलुप्त,
performing austerity,
वो तपस्या
but
विप्र की लुप्त बंद करा दिया।
Vipralapt
किसने?
means
अमुना,
he
माने ये
stopped.
हमारा हुआ।
Amuna means
हाँ?
this
दिखाते हुए ऋषि मुनि
Hiranyakashipu.
कहते हैं, दो पांच ऋषि मुनि ने तो ऐसे हाथ लगाकर, पांव लगाकर कहा, ये इसने हमारी तपस्या बंद करा दी थी। गुरुदेव से हमने सुना है
I have heard
कि
from Guru
हिरण्यकशिपु ने
Maharaj
आदेश दिया था
that
कि
Hiranyakashipu
मेरे
had
राज्य
ordered
में, हिरण्यकशिपु
that
का राज्य
in my
तीनों लोकों
kingdom,
में था,
so
तो
he
वो
was
राजा
there
था, तो उन्होंने आदेश दे दिया अपने सैनिकों को कि मेरे राज्य में
present in all the three worlds. And when he became the king, he said that nobody can perform austerity in my kingdom. Nobody could meditate or perform yajna or fire sacrifice, and nobody should perform devotional service towards the Lord.
हाथ पांव काट दो।
And if someone performs austerity,
और
they
जो
should,
एकादशी करते हैं, तपस्या में एकादशी
their
करते
hands
हैं,
and feet should be
जो
cut.
एकादशी
And if
करते हैं,
someone performs
जबरदस्ती अन्न
Ekadashi,
खिलाओ।
then they should be forced to eat
जो
the grains.
वेजिटेरियन है, जो शाकाहारी है,
Who are
उसे
vegetarians,
जबरदस्ती मांस
you should
खिलाओ।
force them to eat meat.
और साधुओं से, तब ये लोग कहने लगे साधु तपस्या नहीं करेंगे तो फिर क्या करेंगे?
And
बोले
if the
साधुओं को अपनी सेवा करवाओ, जाओ।
sages are not
नदियों का पानी नहीं
performing
करो,
this,
साधुओं से अपनी सेवा
then
कराओ।
you should tell them to
तो
serve
साधुओं
us.
से अपना चरण दबाते थे, अपना मसाज मालिश
He
करवाते
used to get his
हिरण्यकशिपु।
hands and feet massaged
तो
by the
ऋषि
sages and the
जब
saints.
हिरण्यकशिपु को मार दिया ना,
And
तो
now that
ऋषि मुनि
he's
भगवान से
killed
कहते हैं, प्रभु
the
अच्छा हुआ
saints and sages,
तद विप्रलुप्तम सम
is saying that
ना,
it's a great relief that you killed him.
को बंद करवा दिया। लेकिन
He had stopped all our austerity,
अद्य, लेकिन अभी
adya, that is now.
आपने हम साधु संतों की रक्षा करने के लिए ग्रहित
Raksha Grihit, that is to protect us. You took this form
को मार दिया,
and you killed Hiranyakashipu.
पुनरन मंस्था, पुनरन
Punaran Vamstha.
तो अब हम पुनः तपस्या प्रारंभ करें।
So now we can restart austerity. So what austerity it was stopped by him will now be restarted as you have killed him. Now we can restart our austerity. It is mentioned by Sridhar Goswami in a beautiful manner. To protect us, you have took this form
नरसिंह शरीरेण ग्रहितेन,
to protect the sages. You have taken this form of the half lion and half human Narsingha form.
ने हमारी तपस्या बंद करवा दी थी, लेकिन आप
So he had stopped our austerity, but by killing him, you have restarted it. So then the Pitra or ancestors came. And what do they say?
पितृ लोग आकर कहते हैं श्राद्धानी पितृ लोग कहते हैं
They say that,
नो अदि बुभुजे हे प्रभु
oh Lord, we are the ancestors who live in Pitrulok, and our children, as they listen to the Bhagavad Katha, they started performing
लेकिन वो बेचारे श्राद्ध तो करते थे लेकिन ये हिरण्यकश्यप
Shraddh or charity for us. But they used to do it, but and he started taking whatever was offered for us, and now they've become thin and they lost so much weight. So our sons were performing austerity and sacrifice for ancestors, but he was eating everything. No means the austerity for us, he used to take it. And if the Lord says that why you were giving it to him, Prasabha means he used to snatch it from us forcefully. The Pitrus started crying. The ancestors started crying. Our kids are listening to Bhagavad and performing Shraddha. Tanuj means through our kids who do once in a year austerity for us, and they were performing it in the holy places. And when did they do it? On the appropriate time, that is
सूर्य ग्रहण चंद्र ग्रहण अक्षय तृतीया माने जो
the Pitru Paksh or Akshay Tritiya.
समय अच्छे समय में श्राद्ध किया था लेकिन ये साला हमको श्राद्ध पहुंचने ही नहीं दिया.
But he didn't even let it be received by us.
अपिबत तिलांबु भोजन तो हमको नहीं पहुंचने दिया पानी भी नहीं पीने दिया इसने.
Didn't even allowed us to drink water.
बोले पानी भी ये पी जाता था.
Forget about the food.
भोजन तो भोजन तिल और अंबु अंबु माने जल और तिल ये सब यही पी जाता था. लेकिन धन्य है प्रभु आप पितृ लोग.
But you are great.
कांपते कांपते वीर रस आ गया. बोले धन्य है आप. तस्य
The ancestors speak in Veer Ras.
नाखून से इस दैत्य का पेट फाड़ दिया.
With your nails you have torn his stomach. Whatever he has eaten which belonged to us, you have taken all out from his body by tearing his stomach apart. We are extremely satisfied and happy. So the Lord says that you're still hungry. Then how can you be happy? This answer beautifully. They say that no worry. His Shra was in his stomach, and if it was touched by your nails, then what can be the greater feat than this? So we're extremely satisfied, and we have got the ultimate benefit. In such manner, the Pitrus venerate the Lord. And finally, Hanumanji, that is Kim Purush, arrives. So the
हनुमान जी महाराज तो बड़े भावुक होकर कहते हैं
demigods of Kim Purush and Hanumanji Maharaj came forward and they said, thought, we are Kim Purush, we have no stature, we're not even complete human. So Kim Purush means question. Kim stands for question. Is he a man? So such a person is called, referred as Kim Purush. So by seeing Hanumanji, we feel that is he a human? So, Hanumanji is the wisest of wise, and see the words that he speaks. So he says that, oh Lord, we are Kim Purush, that is monkey or Vanar. He says that we are Kim Purush and you are Mahapurush. So, and this demon was Kupurush, that is the worst of the humans. And Mahapurush, the greatest of the humans. But Nashto, that is today he was destroyed. So you have killed him today. But I have considered him dead long back. And if he is asked that since when, so he says the day the sadhus cursed him or he abused the sages, that day I considered him no longer alive, or I considered him dead, because he has abused and troubled devotees and sages and saints. So in the life, whatever situation arise, even if you have to leave that position, you should never trouble the devotee of the Lord. Because as Hanumanji says that he became dead the day he troubled or distressed the sages or devotees of the Lord. So these are the words of Hanumanji. So we all are tied with the time. I had thought that out of these 17 verses, I could just finish 4 or 5. I can finish them in 17 minutes. But the mellows, and if you don't understand the verse properly, then it is an offense towards the verse. The verse should be decorated, and by doing that, the time passes. But if we listen less, but we listen completely, it is not important that how much more we heard, but how much we understood, that is far more important. Even if we just heard 2-3 verses, but whatever we understood is far greater, and even greater than that is the pleasure felt while understanding these verses. And Anand or bliss is the form of the Lord. So just by seeing you, I speak. So in this manner, please. So our 330th Katha is going to conclude, and the next Katha will be on the banks of Bhagirathi, Ma Ganga's banks and wharfs. In a few days, I'll be going to Bharat or India, Amit Narayan Prabhu,
हरिद्वार और वृंदावन से
Haridwar and
आप
Vrindavan.
सुनाएंगे, हम सब मिलेंगे और फिर आगे क्या
You can,
कार्यक्रम है मुझे नहीं
and
पता
the
है। अमित
what program is scheduled, I am not aware, but Amit Narayan Prabhu will share that information with all of you.
प्रभुपाद जी ने इस प्रसंग के अंत में
Srila Prabhupada ji, towards the
शब्द कहे,
end of this pastime,
को प्रस्तुत करूं।
so let me quote him
प्रभुपाद कहते हैं,
here.
प्रहलाद
He
महाराज
says that
चिन्हों पर चलने वाले भक्तों को
the devotees who follow the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj should never be scared of anyone.
आ जाए,
It might happen that our bhakti is obstructed by someone or something, but we should continue to perform annular devotional service towards the Lord. We should constantly chant the holy names and listen to the Bhagavatam Katha. Then the Lord will Himself remove all our obstacles.
हमें लगे रहना चाहिए।
But the only thing that He desires is to see our effort.
लगे रहेंगे। मैं आप सभी भक्तों को धन्यवाद दूं कि आप
So I thank you all who have been listening since last 7 days.
विशेष धन्यवाद इस कथा
And I especially would love to thank the organizers of this beautiful katha, the residents of
शाबेन,
Canada, Sanjay Bhai, Asha Ben,
अरविंद भाई,
Arvind Bhai, Neeta Ben,
कुलीन नीलेश,
Parin Kulin Nilesh,
की बहन सुधा
the
बेन, प्रवीण कुमार,
sister
और
Neeta
इस
Ben,
परिवार के प्रमुख
Vin Kumar,
गौतम भाई आंबाला,
Leela Ben,
पूरा
Gautam Bhai, Ambaman, the whole
भगवान आप
complete Patel family.
आपके
The
सारे
Lord provide you all your material desires be fulfilled,
सुख समृद्धि
and
और शुद्ध
you should have health, wealth, and
से भगवान
unallied devotional service towards the Lord. So I pray at the lotus feet of Lord Narsimha Dev and for all the devotees of the day. I
भक्तों के जीवन में कभी
ask mercy for all of you, and I pray that we never should face any obstacle in our devotional service.
शरीर में अपनी भौतिक जीवन में या फिर आध्यात्मिक जीवन में
In material or spiritual life,
भगवान नरसिंह
all the obstacles in your life should be removed. That is what I pray to the Lord for all of you. And
330वीं
from the Vyaspit of Canada, I conclude this
के दौरान
katha. During the pastime, if there was some mistake, I am not a wise person.
ये सब करता हूँ लेकिन इसमें
I do the verses, etc. But
गणित फिक्स नहीं है,
it's not calculated. But you listen because you are glorious.
त्रुटि हो
And if there
तो आप मुझे क्षमा कीजिएगा। संजय भाई
was any mistake or shortcoming, then please forgive me. Thank you so much, but Sanjay Bhai, and I pray that you are able to perform kathas like these. So let's conclude the last day of this katha with Jai Jaikar.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की, श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की, श्री नरसिंह देव भगवान